Hello, everyone. We are going to explore something very powerful concept in operating system. How a single program can create multiple processes and make them work independently on the same data source. So think of this like the following explanation. Let us say you are a HOD of a department and you assign one person to filter only male students, one person to find students from specific city, say Jalgaon, and one person to find female students from Ahilyanagar. Now, all are working simultaneously, but let us understand here, they are working on the same file. And that is exactly what we are going to do today using fork and file-based interface communication. So we already know, like when a process or when a program runs, it becomes a process. Now imagine a process creates another process, and we know that it is done through fork, correct? The fork system call. So key idea here is what? Parent creates child, both execute independently and both continue from the same point in the code. So like we know fork returns 0 in child, greater than 0 in parent, and less than 0, that would be error. Now let me ask you one question. If multiple processes wants to read the same data, how do they communicate? So there can be different IPC mechanisms like pipes, message queues, shared memory. But in this session, would be using a shared file that I have, say student.txt. Students.txt. This file contains data of students, so which has like a parameters, or you can say column names to be roll number, F name, L name, class, gender, city. Now we are going to make use of this. You can see that there are approximately 30, exactly 30 records are added from these three different cities, or more than these cities, but there are different cities included with MCA, MSc, PhD kind of courses. Okay. Now, as we are going to use this as a shared file, now what are the process that we are going to create? Each of them will open the same file. They would be reading them independently and they would be producing different outputs. So input file that we have is like containing roll number, first name, last name, class, gender, and city, and it contains 30 records. So now our problem statement. We are going to solve a real structured problem where child 1 should return only male students with their names, full names. F name and L name should be displayed. Child 2 would be doing or printing only students from Jalgaon city. It would be printing the names, full names of students. And child 3 will print only female students from Ahilyanagar. And instead of printing, like when I say printing, we'll write them into three different files. Child1.txt would be output of child process, child1 process. Similarly, child2.txt would be output of child2 process, and child3.txt would be output of child3 process. So let us take a sample example of a program that we are going to make use of. Fine. So let me open that program. Let me write that program. So let us say Emacs IPC file sharing March 2007, April. So we'll write 2026.c. And here we are going to write the exact code. Now, as usual, what is to be done? We have to write the header files, correct? So these header files would be responsible. We would be requiring them, all of them. So let me write this code. So hash include stdio.h. So let me write control Y, control K, control Y, control Y, control Y, control Y, control Y. Fine. So next is std lib.h. Then we have string.h, string.h. If it is not available, then we'll remove that. Strings.h. Okay. Then unistd.h. And lastly, because we are going to make use of wait system call, so sys/wait.h. Correct. So these would be the header file that would be requiring. Now, like remember the data that we had. Like when I displayed that data, you must have seen that that data contains the header. So we have to skip this header. So what I will be doing is I will be writing a code, okay, where it would be skipping that header. So let me write that code. So void skip header, HEADER. Okay, then I am going to pass a parameter with the file pointer. Correct. So let us write the code responsible for it. So we will have character. I will take header, okay, with size to be approximately say 200 characters. Fine. We'll get that fgetS. We'll take that head, whatever we are going to read, it would be added here through the file pointer. Size of header and then your file pointer. And so our program is done. Now let us write child one. So we said child one would be opening file, one file, which is student.txt, which you see in the background right here. We are going to open this file, and depending upon the condition that we are going to write, we would be writing that data into child1.txt. So void child1 bracket. So let us write this file star input equal to fopen. This would be our input file. So students dot txt. This would be in read mode. Correct. Similarly, we will require an output file. So this would be child1.txt, and this would be read write. Correct. And then this would be like output. So these two would be there. Then we have to declare the text like which is available with the file. So integer roll number. So I'm going to take header, then char fname 50, comma lname 50, comma class 20, comma gender say 10, comma city 50. So all of these are character arrays. Okay, now we will check, like as we are opening the file, let us check if in is equal to null, if input file is null, or in I mean to say I should write here input. I'm sorry. So now we have to write this. So input and output equal to null. If either of them is error, giving an error, then we have to return an error using p-error function. So file error, correct, and then exit. So exit one. Correct. So this is our first file. Correct. Exit. So this would be for rather we have to exit if it terminates the code. So this is for if exit one and then bracket. Now we have to skip the header. So skip. So what the name we gave was skip header. So we have to skip that header. So we'll pass the parameter as input, which we gave above. Correct. This would be for uh, skipping the things. Now we have to print this in the file. So in the out file, we'll write output file. We have to write what? Like print only male students. print full name. Of students with gender male. Correct. Then this would be with slash and double quotes, bracket, semicolon. Now we have to read like how many columns are there? Let us say. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 columns. So we'll use fscanf. So enough while loop. We'll keep until unless we get 6. When this becomes 0, then it should terminate. Correct. So while it is 6, go on. So where we skipped already first one. So fscanf, we are going to take input. Correct. Then we have to write integer first, %d. Then we have characters. So let me write 49s. Then percent. Second thing we had similarly 49s. Then class 20. So percent 19s. Then we had gender percent 9s. And then lastly city. So percent 49s. This is done. So what is to be read? So and roll number. We will use the same columns what we gave above. Then fname, comma lname, comma. Then we had class, then gender, and comma city. Right. So if like we are using fscanf, so if it is equal to 6, then do following. So we'll check compare now. So I will use if str case cmp string comparison with case gender equal comma male. So if you see, let us understand male is given in capital. So you can write small case cap because we are using str case cmp. So let us see, if I write in small case, then what happens? So if it matches, correct? If it matches, then what is to be done? We have to write this in output file, a printf. What? So here I forgot to write bracket. Yes. A printf. What is to be done? We have to write that data into output file. Output, comma, what is to be written? First name and last name. So %s space %s slash n, then double quotes, comma, fname, comma, lname. Correct. This is done. Fine. So our code is done. This ends the while loop. Okay. Now subsequently, as this is written, this is with while. So our while loop is closed. Then we have to write fclose both the files. Fclose input, fclose, both the files are closed, correct? And then program should terminate. So this was with respect to child one. We want to print names of all students with male to be gender. So let me copy this code completely because we have to write for child two. So this is now child. We have to open the same files. Now input, output, null, this would be similar. Now just we have to change the condition. Like where? This one only. Because we want now city to be Jalgaon. City equal to JLGAON. If it is Jalgaon, then only print. Otherwise, continue. So this is done for second child. And now let us write for third child. This is for third. Now for child 3, what is to be done? We have to check with female. as well as Ailanagar to be the city. So rest of the things would be similar. Just again, we have to change here strkcmp city equal to Ahilyanagar, correct, equal to 00. Now it is to be combined with another case, str case cmp. Okay, so gender, comma. Now we want female, all females to be taken, equal to 0. Both the conditions should match. Then only it should print first name and last name, correct, of those students. So this way we have now printed, rather we wrote code for child 1, child 2, child 3. Now let us write int main, our main program. So if there are errors, we'll try to correct them. So now we have to create 3 processes. So PID underscore 3, P1, P2, and P3. So P1 equal to fork. Now if fork call is given, so we know that in child, it should return what? 0. So if it is 0, then we have to execute that child 2 code. Sorry, child 1 code, correct? Child 1 code. So let us see how the name is given by us above. So we know it is capital C, correct? CHILD1. So capital C would be required. So here just write capital C, child 1 would be called. Once execution is done, exit 1, sorry, exit 0 now because there is no error, correct? And done. So this was written for first process. So let us copy this code and just change for P2 and P3. So this would be P3, this would be P3, this would be child 3. So this would be P2, sorry, P2, this would be child 2, and then this would be P2, correct? And now once these all processes are done with the execution, so parent has to wait, correct? Because parent cannot finish. So for each of them, we'll apply wait null 2, 3. And then once everything is done, we'll write output return to files, namely child. So we gave child1.txt, child2.txt. Correct. So we have to write them specifically in every child. Correct. So here we took for child 1. For child 2, we have to write this file name as child 2. And for third process, it would be child 3. Correct. So namely child1.txt, child2.txt, and child3.txt. So this is done. And then it should write return 0. So our code is done. Now you will identify here what we did was completely we wrote the code with assumption like multiple things. So let me have a walkthrough through the code again. Okay, so first we wrote header skipping. So we wrote void skip header and so on. So the first row contains column names in our input file. So you may see this again. So if I show you, this contains our header. In the background, you can check. You know, this top thing. Right? That we have to skip that. So if we don't skip it, fscanf will fail. We know that. So that is the reason why we wrote this. Then, like if I see child 1 logic, our logic, most of the things are common except this while. Or even while would not be the case, this if statement. What condition you are checking? So we are expecting only male students, and when male gender is matched, we have to print first name and last name. Similarly with child 2 logic, we want city to be Jalgaon. Correct? Done. And then child 3 logic, we want Ahilyanagar. Correct? Plus, they should be female students. So two conditions are there. So we combine them with and then female students from Ahilyanagar would be printed. Again, first name, last name of those. And inside process creation, we created three processes, P1, P2, P3. So P1, P2, P3, we give call to P1, P2, and P3 for fork. Again, we explicitly called each child process internally. So this is not sequential child creation, actually creates child processes during cascading forks. So, but because each child exists immediately after execution, okay, we control execution effectively by writing exit 0. So then to synchronize the processes, we wrote wait null, wait null, wait null. Why it is needed? Because if parent exits early, child process may become orphan or zombie. And that's why parent should wait for all children. And then like output would be generated appropriately, the three files, child1.txt, child2.txt, and child3.txt. So the similar thing we can consider if at all I want to imagine university office. So one clerk handle male student records, second clerk handles Jalgaon region records or students, and third clerk handles female students from Ahilyanagar only. All reading from the same register but preparing different report. That's exactly parallel processing plus IPC using shared file. Now what can happen? Like what could be common mistakes that one can do? Like if you forget to skip the header, if you don't check file open errors, or if even you are not using exit 0 in child, even parent is not waiting, and even the case sensitive comparison issues, these are the issues that probably you may see. This program demonstrates exactly the process duplication, independent file pointers, implicit IPC via shared file, and basic parallelism. But it is not efficient for large systems because file-based interprocess communication is slow. No synchronization control, no locking mechanism. That's why real systems we use shared memory, semaphores, and pipes. So, students, today you learned something very important. So let us first execute this. So I will save this and let us go to the terminal. Correct. So let me now compile this. GCC -M32. Now if let me remove rmc dot txt if at all it is there, c star dot txt. We'll remove all of them. Right, there is nothing. Then we will execute dot slash error. So it would be using students.txt in the file. So if I see now, you can see child 1, child 2, child 3. So let me go to open here. Let me open that file. Open file. So I want student.txt. So let us concentrate on this data. So let us see first child 1. Now we know child 1 would be printing only male students, correct, as per our code. You can see the code. Child 1 except what was our IPC. Yeah. So our child 1 was supposed to print what? Child 1 was supposed to print only male students, correct? Like here, you can see male students. Then child 2 is supposed to print only Jalgaon city, target is Jalgaon city, all students, whether talk without talking about gender. And child 3, Ahilyanagar with female as a condition. Okay. So let us open that file, student.txt. Let us run the code. Okay. So if you see, so we'll correct this gender to be male. Correct. So print full name of students with gender to be male. So if I see male, okay, let us check the output. Amit Patil, then Rahul Shah, again male, then Rohit Deshmukh. Correct. Where is Rohit Deshmukh? Yeah. So Rohit Deshmukh, then Sagar, then Ankit Jain, then Kunal Patil, and you can see all male students are there. Let me talk about child2.txt. So we want gender to be male from Jalgaon city. Correct. So Amit Patil, Jalgaon. So if I check, sorry. Control F, Control S, Jalgaon. Okay, you can see the highlighted ones. Check the names. Amit Patil, then Pooja Patil. We are not talking about gender now. Then Kavita More, then Krunal Patil, Shweta, Kavita More, Krunal Patil, then Shweta Patil, then Preeti More, probably Mahesh Patil and Prakash More also would be there. So Prakash More and Mahesh Patil. Right? So that is the output that we got. Fine. Similarly, if I talk about child 3 now, child 3 is female with Ahilyanagar. So if I see here, female Ahilyanagar, so Rutuja Joshi, Dipali Pawar, correct? Dipali Pawar, this one Rutuja Joshi, then Komal Jain, correct? Then Komal Jain, Aarti Deshmukh, okay? Then Riya Kulkarni, correct? Let us go up and check for Sneha Joshi. So you can see Neha Kulkarni also is there. All of them are added, correct? So that's how the program generates these three files. So let me remove it again one more time so that we'll delete all these files. Correct. Now, if I see ls-ltr, you can see none of the child processes are. So let me write dot slash a dot out. And then if I write ls-ltr, three files are generated. And that's how this program works. So what we learned today is something very important. A single program can become multiple processes. So like one can check it by adding like sleep there. Each process can independently process the same data and we can coordinate them using operating system primitives. And this is the foundation of parallel computing or multi-core processing or distributed systems. So next time when you open Chrome with multiple tabs, remember, actually you are watching fork in action. So now I will give you one more question. Like if you can modify this by writing this code. Can we modify this program so that each child handles a different class, MCA, MSc, and PhD? Think about it, and that is your next assignment. Thank you.